This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
Helps if I add myself to the stream when I start it. All right. I'm going to do a quick little daily thing. I had made a Facebook post about the potential halftime show controversy the other day. And what I basically said was, I don't watch the halftime show generally. The last time I remember having been in the room for the halftime show was Black Eyed Peas when Slash came up out of the stage playing the guitar. And that's literally all I remember of it. Like, I saw Slash come up out of the stage and like, oh, that's cool. And that was it. My wife told me that it was terrible. That halftime show was bad. I take her word for it. I'm not normally in the room, and if I am, I'm not paying attention to the halftime show. I consider the halftime show to be for women. That's what it is. They understand that the Super Bowl is a huge event, and the game is for the men. The commercials are hopefully for everybody, and the halftime performance is for the women. It's to give them something to do when the men go to load their plates back up and talk about the first half and laugh about whatever commercials were good. It's a social function. And as such, I don't participate in the halftime show because it is the part of this for the women. And I don't care. I don't care who's performing. I don't care what songs they're doing. I don't care. So usually I don't participate. And judging by most of the commentary I've seen on either side of the halftime show, whether it was the people that watched Bad Bunny or the people that watched the Turning Point USA, it has, by and large, been females who are commenting on one or the other, or both, which just kind of reinforces what I already said. The halftime show is for women. As such, I decided to at least be here when it was happening. The halftime show was on. My daughter and I stayed out here and watched the game. Wife and the other kids came out and we had a table set up and had a whole spread and snacked all afternoon. And Katie and I watched Stranger Things together, and Stephanie hung out with us and watched some of the pregame stuff. And then before the game started, Stephanie went back inside and to watch her shows and get ready for bed. And Sean and Nadia filtered through, grabbed food, left. Me and Katie sat out here and snacked and hung out all day. And so when the football game was on, we were watching the football game, and then halftime was about to start. I was like, I'm gonna like do other stuff. I'm not gonna actually watch it. As I told Katie, I was like, I'll leave it on. If you want to watch it, cool. If not, cool. Like, it's on for you. And I didn't have it turned up real loud. I figured, maybe it'll make for some good background noise, if nothing else, right? Bad Bunny is not the kind of music that I listen to. He's not popping up on any of my Pandora playlists ever. That's like louder than life type stuff is rock, metal, and then some like country stuff. That's it. I don't listen to Bad Bunny. He's not a genre that I'm interested in. So, like, I had heard that it was like dance music or whatever. I don't know, Latin dance type stuff. All the women who had commented on it before were like, "Oh, I listen to his music and I just can't help but dance." And it's like, all right, cool. So maybe got a good beat or something. I'll leave it on in the background. It came on, and I don't know, we got a minute and a half into it, and it just sounded like straight mumble rap garbage. I was like, Katie, it wasn't, and not well, like, it sounded like you probably could use auto-tune just from that first, again, I didn't give it much of a chance. Minute and a half. I was like, Katie, I'm going to mute this unless you want me to leave it on. And she said, no, please do. And so I muted it. And then we went about doing stuff, hanging out here. And when halftime was over, then we went back to watching the game. Like, that was it. I have no opinion one way or the other if it was woke or pandering or any of that. I listened to about as much of his music as I could stand. It sounded like straight mumble rap garbage, and I muted it. And that was it. No further involvement in it. I didn't flip over to the Turning Point. I don't even know where I would have watched the Turning Point halftime show. I don't care. Halftime is for women. If you're a male and you have found yourself deeply invested in the halftime show, reach down between your legs and make sure you still have a fucking pair of balls. When all the controversy about Bad Bunny and the halftime show first started, is like, I'd never heard of this dude. I have no fucking clue who he is. Like, oh, he does all of this woke, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. It's a halftime show. Like, you can just leave the room or turn it off. You don't have to watch the halftime show. It's not important to the game in any way. The couple years that I've been at work, when the game is on, we have the game on the TV, on the big TV up in the break room, and we watch the game, and when halftime comes on, everybody leaves, and we go work and get stuff done for 30 minutes, and then we come back, and like, somebody will set a timer, or somebody will be like watching on their phone to keep up with it, and as soon as the game comes back on, then we all go back and proceed to watch again. Like, the halftime show is, if you're a man, the part that you check out of. And I think the whole thing, the whole controversy and all of it with the halftime show, what it all boils down to is it's the Bud Light phenomenon. Marketing at Bud Light should have been the easiest job on the planet. You know your base. You know your demographic. You know who's going to buy your beer. All you have to do is not fuck that up, and you will be the king of beers forever. Excuse me, right? Rural folks, college kids. That's it. You don't need to come up with some unique marketing brand. You don't need to try to capture these like niche demographics that don't otherwise drink Bud Light. You are the number one selling beer and will be for forever as long as you don't do anything to fuck it up. And instead, Bud Light decided to go and fuck it up. They decided that they needed to start catering to and pandering to all of these niche demographics that don't drink Bud Light and will never drink Bud Light and do not care about Bud Light and do not care about the pandering that's being done to them. And then they pissed off their fan base. Their actual, or not fan base, their customer base. Because they kept pushing too far down that road. And now they're not in the same position that they were, that they could have just ridden off into the sunset forever on. They've had to take significant steps to fix their brand. And it's projected that they'll never get back to the point of sales that they were at previously. And the NFL is in sort of a similar position. The NFL is trying to capture a demographic, a base that does not like football, does not care about football and will never watch football or care about football, no matter how much you cater to them or pander to them or how much you give them some dumb bullshit that you think they want. What you will do, however, is piss off your actual fan base. And the NFL has gone through waves of this in the not so distant past where they do some dumb shit. They get a little too woke and their ratings drop. And then they kind of get away from it and their ratings start to come back. Like, marketing with the NFL should be currently, after Bud Light fucked up having the easiest job on the planet to be in marketing, the NFL should be the new easiest job on the planet for marketing. And yet, for some reason, they keep trying to go after a base that doesn't want them and doesn't care about them, while at the same time alienating the base that does. And that's the problem. And honestly, I don't think, from what I've heard, Bad Bunny wasn't overtly woke or didn't do any political messaging. And I kind of had a suspicion that he probably wouldn't. I kind of had the NFL had made a statement prior to the game that there would be no political messaging in any of the halftime stuff or any of the performances. It's like, all right, that's not unexpected. They'd, at least to some extent, know where their bread is buttered and don't want to fuck that up. And surely to God, Bad Bunny's not a complete and total retard. He's not going to come out there and go against them, because that means he'll never get a gig like this again. And I don't care how many followers he has on, or downloads he has on Spotify or whatever, that will always pale in comparison to what he's going to get paid to do a Super Bowl gig. So, I didn't think that there would be anything super controversial about it, but you never know. So what's going to have to happen is either the NFL is going to have to realize they're never going to capture that demographic and stop, or the actual fan base of the NFL is going to have to say, we're done. Hit them the way you hit Bud Light. Make it stick. Make it hurt. Make it hurt so bad that they have to completely reevaluate everything. And the NFL is trying to build a more global brand, and the Super Bowl is not just one of the most watched events in the United States. It's one of, golly, I gotta wrap this up. I'm having some issues. The NFL, or the Super Bowl, is one of the most watched events in the world, not just in the U.S. So, I get that you want to have stuff that's for more than just a white male U.S. based audience, and that's the halftime show, and that's fine. It's for women. It's for the entertainment. It's not for the people who are watching football. So, if you're the people watching football, either hit them in a way that hurts so much they can't ignore it, or shut the fuck up, because it's the halftime show. It doesn't fucking matter. I thought the game was great. I love a good defensive struggle. All the people that are, the halftime show was more entertaining than the game. All a bunch of liberal white women. Yes, you're not supposed to enjoy the game. You're yeah, I don't care about Kid Rock one way or the other. And he was one of those, he captured a moment of that era, the the 90s, early 2000s. He was a moment, and it was a wild moment. Those were crazy times, and he is still kind of a throwback to that. And outside of that, I really don't care about him. And again, halftime shows for the women folk. It's the entertainment part of the game. The women sit in the kitchen and cook and talk while the men watch football. And then the halftime show comes on and the roles reverse. The men all go to the kitchen and load up their plates and eat and talk about the first half while the women go and watch the game. That's the way it ought to be. If you had a problem with Bad Bunny or the halftime show or whatever, that is feminine behavior. You need to grow a pair and knock it the fuck off. That's my pep talk for Super Bowl halftime shows in the future. And if the next one that they announce is some, woke, crazy thing, then start right then. That fucking second, turn off the TV and don't watch another NFL game. Hit them in the ratings and make it hurt. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Hit them the way you hit Bud Light, where that they cannot ignore it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and just enjoy football. I saw some different numbers, anywhere from 16 to 20 million views across all platforms for the Turning Point show. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't care about the halftime show. I never have. I never will. Probably the only time the halftime show was actually mattered was when Janet Jackson popped a titty out. And even then it was just because I only got a titty on screen. And, wardrobe malfunction, or was it staged, was it planned? I don't know. I don't care. It was funny as hell for a couple of years, and it will live on forever. But otherwise, the halftime show never has and never will have any relevance to anything. And don't let it. All right. That's all I got. I got to get off here. I got to drink some water, and I've got something going on. Oh, that's been the fun part of the recovery process of this, is I still get a little bit of chest pressure and like a little buildup of gases and stuff. So my esophagus is basically locked in the open position for the time being while it heals, which will probably be another month or so before it's fully healed and actually functions properly like it's supposed to. So I get some gases built up, and it's not bad to deal with, but it's if it doesn't go away real quick, I start getting a lot of pressure in my chest, get really uncomfortable and get kind of gassy. So I'm gonna go drink some water and get all this to kind of flush through and get to feeling a little bit better. Anyway, I'm on that note, I'm gained quite a bit of weight. I'm almost up 30 pounds since Christmas. See the rowing machine, and I've got a bunch of other workout. I've been working out, lifting weights daily, and feeling a lot better, feeling a lot stronger, got a lot more energy and everything. So recovery is going really well. So that's all I got for today. I will be back on Thursday. I don't think I'm going to be able to do. I wanted to do the Lord of the Rings stuff with Forte, but he's got other stuff going on. We'll do that next week. I do have a couple other articles that kind of follow up a little bit on some of the stuff I've talked about over the last couple weeks. So I'll be doing that. Anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you Thursday. Later.